Dear friends, family, brothers, sisters, panjandrums, quidums, boulevardiers, acolytes, dim boxes, fellow travelers, members of the conspiratorium, and charter members of Lionel Nation. Good day, good day, good day to you and yours. And I want to speak right now very plainly, very calmly, very specifically, and very sincerely to you from the heart. This is not a show. This is not a rant. This is not some hot take. This is a Christmas message. And this year has been big and loud and chaotic and revealing, painful at times, inspiring at others. We did so much this year to strip away the illusions, to get to the truth, to get rid of the liars and the four-flushers, and the people who didn't believe, the phonies, the synthetic, the fugazi. This year we exposed lies. We tested faith. We came together. And we are better and stronger than ever, and don't let anybody fool you. Things aren't perfect. Things aren't perfect. Believe me. You don't need me to tell you this. But we're doing just fine. This year it tested our faith. It tested our courage, our endurance. And yet here we are on Christmas. Still standing, still thinking, still grateful, still questioning, still believing. And that alone is a victory. And Christmas acts. Did I say that? Or it should be axes. I didn't say axes. Christmas acts not. That drives me crazy. Oh, you have no idea. I know I'm supposed to get over that, but it's like, can I ax you? It's like a mask under the nose that people wear. What's that? Under the nose, or sometimes under the chin. But this year, Christmas asks us to stop, to breathe, to remember. Not the commercials, not the movies, not the sales, not the football, not the usual stuff. Christmas is about the birth of Christ. And there may be some simultaneous events and celebrations, and that's wonderful. But they're not Christmas. They have their own lore, their own importance, and their own respect. And we should respect them. But Christmas is about a child born in obscurity, born without power, born without wealth, born without protection, a truth that frightened kings, a truth that threatened empires. Think about this. A truth that still divides the world. Truth always does. Truth shakes things up. That's what's so great. And with all that I've been talking about and recognizing with what's happening with Candace Owens, it's perfect. Remember something. Remember when she got into grief by other people or from other people because she posted something that said he is risen or Christ is king or something. She expressed her faith and immediately somebody said, aha, that's anti-Semitism. Can you believe that? I mean, oh my God. Oh my God. So she's my girl this year. She's my girl. She's driving people so crazy that they're coming after her and attacking her and not what she's saying. Okay, if you don't believe the Egyptian, airplane, fine. Talk about that. No, they're talking about her. It's almost like somebody put a bounty on her head. Is that something? We're going to weave her into this holiday spirit. Because, this year, we talked about truth probably more than ever. You notice that? We talked about it because lies became louder. And we talked about it because the various institutions that we have to maneuver around, oh my God, they lost all credibility. We talked about it because the people sensed that something was very wrong, even even if they couldn't name it, even if they couldn't identify it specifically. And that's where courage begins, with a feeling of unease, with a refusal to accept what doesn't make sense. Candace Owens understood that. She still does every day. She's still driving her crazy. Look, whether you agree with her on everything or not, it doesn't matter. She still represents something rare. A moral clarity, fearlessness, faith without apology. She didn't come from power. She didn't come from legacy media. She didn't come from elite approval. She came from conviction and raw, inane talent. And this year, she refused to ask permission. And you know what? She refused to pretend that truth needs consensus to exist. She spoke about faith. She spoke about Christ. She spoke about moral order and moral certainty. And she spoke about right and wrong in a world that wants everything to be relative and everything to be identification. I identify, identitarian nonsense. I identify as a squirrel, as an onion ring. Okay, fine. And for that, she was attacked. Now, I'm not making Christ comparisons, please. I'm not. But the storyline is almost identical. She was attacked, not debated, attacked. Words were twisted, intentions were distorted. Faith was weaponized against her. Her Christianity was framed as something sinister, as something hateful, as something dangerous, as something problematic. It was absurd. It was dishonest. And it was most revealing, if you think about it. Most revealing. Very revealing. And here is the truth that must be said clearly. Belief in Christ is not hate. Faith is not bigotry. Moral conviction is not violence. Disagreeing is not harm. And silence is definitely not virtue. Christmas reminds us that truth doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. Truth is uneasy, difficult sometimes. It arrives wrapped in risk. Christ didn't come to make everyone feel validated. He came to tell the truth. He came to call people higher. He gave them a path, but you had to believe. He didn't just bestow it on people and say, great, you're saved. Have a nice day. No. Nay. He came to draw lines. He came to confront hypocrisy. This is a message of Christ, which is forgotten. He came to expose false power. And that is why the powerful feared him. And that's why the powerful still fear him today and fear Christianity today. And that's why this commercialization is being done in order to dilute the power of Christianity. And that is why they still do it. And this year, Candace Owens and a lot of people, Tucker Carlson, were adamant, profound and loud and bold in their faith, their unmitigated faith. And she reminded millions that faith is not something to whisper, to keep to yourself. It's something to live openly and loudly and proudly. She reminded people that Christianity is not a costume you put on for holidays. It is a compass. It tells you where north is, even when the world spins. And she paid a price for that. But so did Christ. I'm not making I'm not juxtaposing. I'm just saying the similarities are incredible. And so, by the way, did every person in history who refuse to bow to false and misleading authority. This year, we saw how fast labels are thrown, how quickly accusations are made, how carelessly reputations are attacked. We saw this. One word, one clip, one distortion, and suddenly a narrative is built and it sticks. It's not justice. It's not truth. It's not morality. It's fear. Fear pretending to be righteousness. Christmas teaches us something important here. Remember the story. Remember it was about the shepherds were not elites. They weren't scholars and magi. They were not approved voices. They were ordinary people who recognized truth when they saw it, unabashedly, openly, clearly. The wise men were seekers. They followed signs. They asked questions. They traveled far because they sensed something real. That is you. That is we. That is Lionel Nation. You ask, you search, you refuse to swallow slogans. You don't outsource your conscience. This year was great for many reasons, but certainly not because it was easy, but because it was clarifying. And we learned who tells the truth when it costs them something. We learned who hides behind consensus. We learned who is willing to fight, to go up against the opposition and risk everything. Who believes deeply and who performs belief when it's fashionable. We learned, my dear friend, that courage is contagious. We learned that silence is also contagious, sad to say. And we learned that people are starving for honesty and truth and bravery and authenticity and something real, even if they do not yet know how to say it. And I go back, Candace Owens gave people permission, her millions of acolytes. She gave them permission to speak, to question, to believe openly, to defend Christ without apology. That matters. Every other religion, you must listen and you must pay homage and respect. But Christianity, even when there's the open slaughter of them in African countries. See, the birth of Christ was a declaration. God entered history. Truth took flesh, light entered darkness, you know it. And darkness noticed, interestingly enough, still does. This year, many of you faced ridicule and isolation and doubt and family tension and workplace tension and friendships tested, conversations avoided truth. I mean, it was wild. You are not alone. Standing for something always costs something. But it also builds something. It builds character, and it builds clarity, and it builds a backbone and a spine and power and intrepidity and valor and conviction. And it builds peace, by the way, that does not depend on approval. We're not asking for approval. We're not asking for permission either. Christmas is the reminder that the most powerful truth arrives quietly, because humility is simplicity. A child, a manger, a mother, a promise. No press conference, no branding, no focus group, just truth. This year, we at Lionel Nation grew, not just in numbers, but in resolve. And thanks to you. Why? Because you listened. You thought. You challenged me. You challenged each other. And you challenged narratives that demanded obedience and obeisance without explanation. And that is healthy. That is freedom. And that is what a thinking nation looks like. As we move slowly into the new year, if you can believe this, as we move into this collective conscience, we remember this. Do not let anyone tell you that belief in something is weakness. Do not let people tell you that you must ask for permission to believe something. Faith is strength. Moral clarity is strength. Courage is strength. Do not let anyone tell you that asking questions is dangerous. You can doubt anything you want. Blind obedience, blind obeisance, this Pavlovian patellar, is dangerous. Silence in the faith of lies is dangerous. Do not let anyone tell you that truth needs permission. It doesn't. Candace Owens did not and will not wait for permission, and neither did Christ, and neither should you. This Christmas, give yourself a gift. The gift of resolve, the gift of honesty, the gift of courage, the gift of faith. Faith that doesn't flinch. Tell your children what Christmas is really about. You're the parent. It's your duty. Not the gifts, but the giver. Not the spectacle, but the sacrifice. They'll appreciate for this. Tell them this isn't about the noise, it's about the meaning. Tell them that truth matters even when it's unpopular, and especially when it is unpopular. Tell them that faith is not something to hide. It is something to carry. Tell them that standing alone is sometimes the price of standing right, of standing righteous, of standing correct. This year was great, if you think about it. It really was. No, it was good. Because it revealed who we are. We're not perfect. We're not uniform. We're not sometimes consistent. We're fractious and heterogeneous and sometimes a tad schizoid. We do not agree on everything. But we share something essential, my friend. A refusal to surrender our minds and our souls and our heart and our conviction. A refusal to surrender our faith. A refusal to surrender truth. And as we gather with family and friends throughout the end of this year and the beginning of the next, remember this moment. Remember this clarity. Remember where you are and what you felt now. Remember this strength. Remember what we've learned. Light the candle. Say the prayer. Speak the name of Christ without fear, without apology. It is your faith. Exercise it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Because Christmas is not about comfort. It is about courage. And Candace Owens, I say again, showed us what that is. So from my heart, my friend, to yours. From our family, along with Mrs. L. and Lynn's Warriors, to you and yours. Merry Christmas. Stand strong, America. Stay curious. Keep the faith. Never give up. And just remember what this is about. Remember what we're doing. And remember what our mission is. And remember something. Don't think there's sacrifice. No. It's fun to be right. It's fun to be righteous. It's fun to give the enemy, to give them a hard time, to scare them. I love it. I continue to love it. I want to be a warrior for truth. I want to be a proponent for this wonderful country of ours, our constitutional republic. And together you and I can do it. And let us support people. And like I said, the one who I think is the absolute person of the year, without a doubt, Candace Owens. Absolutely lit the world on fire. And we'll talk more about that, obviously. So anyway, we love you. Thank you, my dear friends. Do me a solid, as the kids say. Please like this video. Please Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. We would so appreciate if you would also look at the questions that we put up for you to comment and respond, because your questions, your responses have been terrific. And in the meantime, we say two things. First of all, comment as you see fit, but also we say something very clearly. From the bottom of our hearts, from our family to yours, Merry, Merry Christmas.